Good morning. Welcome to Hindu Newspaper IAS 20th December 2022. First article talks about COP15 Summit adopts historic biodiversity deal. You just imagine what is this COP15 is about. We heard about COP27 in the 2 months back. Now it is COP15. To understand all these things, we have to understand global environment governance. From 1970s onwards, there were a series of meetings raised on environmental conservation. For the first time ever in 1972, they conducted Stockholm Conference under UNEP, United Nations Environment Program. Later, series of meetings was conducted. The idea of sustainable development put forward in 1980s by Brundtland Commission, and later global countries raised their concerns and voice on this conservation governance. At this point of time, we need to remember 1992 Rio Earth Summit, which was a historic summit in the global environmental issues. And finally in 1992, we established United Nations Convention on Framework Climate Change, UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, then United Nations Conservation of Biodiversity and United Nations Convention on Combating Desertification. Now every organ under these meetings like UNFCCC, UNCBD, UN Convention on Combating Desertification will conduct their annual meetings in the name of Conference of Parties. Now we have Conference of Parties 15 of United Nations Biodiversity, which is not UNFCCC. Unlike the climate change, which is visible to our media, newspaper, research papers, biodiversity is invisible factor. You cannot find its impact on indirectly or indirectly. Now I would like to tell you a recent report, not recent one. In 2017, there was a report called as Global Biodiversity Outlook Report by United Nations Convention on Biodiversity, which stated, that report highlighted that global countries met and they arranged ACCHE Convention, AITCHE, and this ACCHE Convention put forward 20 points agenda for the conservation of biodiversity. And the study on this Target 20 under ACCHE Convention, which was revealed in 2017, highlighted that not even a single target completely achieved by the global countries. That is, all the countries failed to implement the 20 points in the ACCHE Convention, and that led to a concern over priority of biodiversity among the countries' planning and development. And WWF gave Living Planet report, and again in this Living Planet report it stated that 68% of biodiversity is under stress and it is almost going to extinct. Now we need to understand that the concerns over this biodiversity are very serious, but unfortunately no one is focusing. Thanks to the recent meetings under COP15 in Kunming, Montreal agreement, in which countries decided to give priority for the biodiversity again. So this is a movement in which the Paris deal, that is movement for nature, also highlighted, and now countries decided to reverse the dangerous loss of biodiversity. Imagine they highlighted the need for conservation of biodiversity, and also they want to give priority to the biodiversity conservation. They launched a 30 by 30 project in which they want to protect 30% of biodiversity by 2030. They want to promote indigenous rights of the local people by promoting land use in their favor. They also highlighted need for the financing biodiversity, and there the $20 billion project was announced by 2025, and then by 2030 it want to enhance to $30 billion. Apart from that, they also decided to create trust fund within the financial mechanism under Global Environment Facility. Unfortunately, they are not prioritizing legally binding principles which yet to evolve. Next article talks about a role for India in a World Wide Web. This article was written by Shashi Tharoor sir. So he is a famous minister, external affairs minister. At the same time, he is also author of several books. He elaborated how India having role in global politics by taking the statement given by the present External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. So he said that India has played a stabilizing and bridging role, and when the world is no longer optimistic picture in intriguing, and also it said that India can contribute towards the de-risking the global economy. So what we can understand is to create the stabilized world, it is a need for India to play an important role. Now, Shashi Tharoor sir explained a lot of things, but I would like to summarize in few points. Number one, he said that Indian foreign policy is based on the global peace. In fact, Article 51 also directs us in DPS peace that India should work for the harmony and the global peace. And in that manner, Indian foreign policy lied down in this particular segment of creating global peace. We have to remember India's role in creating peaceful order during the Korean War crisis. At the same time, we need to think about how India played an important role in other crises, particularly in Israel-Palestine conflict also, how India stating two-state solution. Now, I would like to tell you that India is in the web of networks. So, Shashi Tharoor sir called it as World Wide Web in Indian diplomacy, where India engaged with several groups. For example, BRICS, BASIC, SAARC, G77, G20, so on and so forth. Now we have to understand that all these things are creating a kind of influence. All these things are creating a way to create India's influence on other countries. And also these groups are also providing an opportunity to India to engage with other countries and to enhance our soft power also. So what is the soft power here is? The soft power, an American scholar, Joseph Ney, brought this by stating power can influence not only by using military, we can also use this cultural and other aspects. Now soft power is directly or indirectly utilizing the capacity of the country in terms of economy, in terms of culture, religion, tourism, so on and so forth. So here the soft power and other aspects also can be raised by these groups. So finally, author concluded that there is a high role in India's stand in destabilizing the conflicts, in creating the peaceful and harmony order. To give a case study, when countries are fighting each other with Cold War, India brought NAM, non-alignment movement. And now Shashi Tharoor sir want to call it as not NAM, he want to call it as with the name of multi-alignment movement. Now for that point of time, this article is quite important to understand India's role in global politics. Next article talks about criminalizing consensual relationship. It was Nelson Mandela who said during the launch of Nelson Mandela Fund, and I quote, "The soul of the society rests on the way in which it treats its children." So society role itself depends on the children itself. Now we need to understand there is a problem for India, not only Indian children throughout the globe, that is child assaults or child abuse. To quote NCRB data in recent 2021, there were 53,875 POCSO cases registered in India. And what is more unfortunate is, and almost 90% almost cases are pending. Now here we need to understand certain elements in the POCSO case and also challenges. What is a POCSO case? So POCSO case essentially stating that Protection of Children from the Sexual Offences Act, and it was created in 2012, almost 10 years for the act today. Now what it aims? It aims that protection children from the sexual offences, conducting the trial in child-friendly ecosystem, protecting child identity and providing medical assistance and compensation for the victims. Unfortunately, even in a recent national stakeholders consultation on POCSO meeting, CJI, Justice D.Y. Dhananjay stated some clear-cut challenges of this act. First time, he stated there is high stigma, culture of silence about shameness and family honor, stereotyping, that is perpetrators believing in stereotyping, and National Family Health Survey stated that 90% of the victims are known persons, and later he also highlighted that most of the times there is lack of child-friendly prosecution, and he stated National Law University Delhi study revealed that police are not having sensitivity over the investigation, and lack of availability of trained psychologist or child care activist in these cases. Further, child homes also reporting number of child abuse cases. Now here, others also align with the observations given by CGI, and they also suggesting that there is high pendency and high rate of high POCSO cases rate also. Apart from that, they also rise of romantic cases. That is, whenever two adults or adolescents having in love affair or romantic relations, that particular aspects are turning into a POCSO cases. There was cases in Bombay and even Assam and in Maharashtra and in Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal, in which the romantic relations turning into POCSO cases and seriously impacting the boys, and it is creating a sense of fear and depriving personal liberty of the boys. So the boys who are involved in these issues, they are losing their dignity, liberty, and also they are facing severe challenges to the employment and education. Girls on the other side, they may stay in victim homes, and they are also facing a lot of challenges psychologically from their parents. Now, what others are observing that there is a need for tackling this issue in a different manner. So here, what we can understand is, according to UN studies, according to United Nations Committee on Rights of Children, there is a high need for changing the legislative statements in criminalizing and creating safety avenues for the consensual and non-exploitative relations. UN committee stated that avoid criminalizing of consensual and non-exploitative relations. Now it urges, even UN bodies urged the states to remove these offenses which are consensual. So one thing I want to convey to you that as directed by the UN, the state governments, even Indian government, should think about the eliminating the causes of criminalization of consensual non-exploitative measures. Even Karnataka High Court also asked a law commission to study on this aspect. Even several judges, even Madras High Court judges also raised concerns over these adolescent issues. Now they should get proper awareness about their sexual education, and also they should know about the impacts of illegal or unscientific abortions. You should remember that whenever they are involving in this romantic relationship, they are opting towards the unsafe abortions, which is going to impact the health of the girls, particularly to the girl's family. Now that is one part of story. The second thing is the other suggestion that there should be a proper interpersonal skills development. Emotional balance should be there. Schools must induce emotional psychic counseling sessions. Right to sexual education is needed. Apart from that, it is also need to have a proper balance over the health and dignity and attitude development. Next article talks about Bihar prohibition is not working. So we should remember that Bihar is one of the state which adopted the element of banning of alcohol. But banning of alcohol throughout the states is not working, as Bihar witnessed several tragedies in recent past. In the August month this year, we witnessed a loss of lives of several people. Now it is almost crossed 50 people died because of illegal consumption of alcohol. Try to understand, Banning of alcohol is inspiration from Article 47 of Indian DPSPs. It directs the state to endeavor prohibit consumption of intoxicated drinks and drugs that are injurious to health. And several states tried this. Even several countries like USA also tried this, but they failed miserably. I would like to focus only on what are the issues regarding banning of alcohol in Bihar. The first concern is state lost revenue, estimated around 4,000 crores were expected loss. Apart from that, it is seriously impacting the public order because the law says that if any liquor bottle found nearby the premises of the home, entire family will be detained. It is also affecting hospitality and tourism sector, and illegal trade of alcohol, and also promoted illegal employment to the children and women. And Justice N.V. Ramana in a public forum highlighted that this is even raising the cases in the judiciary. And there are several consequences: rise in crime rate of juveniles, villages, and also it is also creating high health impacts on the people. Further, it is observed that people also facing several challenges with the implementation of this issue. So that's the reason we can say the policy is not working in Bihar. Next, 80% decline in insurgency related to violence in Northeast. So this was the reports given by Government of India that decline in violence and insurgency in Northeast is a welcome step. We have to appreciate the efforts taken by the government in the name of UPA, National Investigation Agency role, and also Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Yes, I do believe that they are anti-democratic, they are violating fundamental rights, but still it worked to reduce the insurgency as per the government report. Next article talks about Finland pitches for the Indian nurses, tech workers amid labor crunch. It is well known fact that Finland is one country which is highly developed, but still they are facing labor shortages. So during the interactions in recent dialogue, now Finland want to take Indian workforce where they can generate work and they can involve in the participation of the work and they can improve the workforce availability in Finland. So that is a welcome step where we are having surplus workforce. Definitely we can continue this kind of interactions not only with Finland, even countries in Western Europe also. That's all for today. Thank you so much and Jai Hind.